I'm going to extend that lovely 1 minute short to talk about the personal experiences of those who are emotionally mature, functional adults, 5D mystics and or Enlightenment soul age group. So optimal integrated brain, restored embodied self, a healthy self-worth person. I'm not superior, I'm not inferior. And when we actually do, whether through our businesses, our professions, whatever it is, our presence, we say the truth. And how the adaptive child with an inner child, whether they have childhood trauma or they simply have the adaptive child because they haven't tended to their emotional charge states that are immature, or attachment wounds or no wounds, the people who don't know what it is to be healthy self-worth, they don't sit in the middle knowing in equanimity land. I have had plenty of experiences since I was a teenager. I just thought it was teenagers. Now I'm a grown-up. I was like, oh, there's the teenagers, and then there's the teenagers with the childhood trauma. And there are good therapists out there like Patrick Teahan, but there's also a lot of not so much, I'd say, silverback type people. The culty cults, traditional cults, ethical cults, they're cheering each other on, and they're actually pinpointing the very areas that can draw people to them. And those who are emotionally mature individuals who care about the human race and people who will be like, what are you doing? The person's not a sales pitch. You know how many people I've ever met that are in agreement, except for the 5D educators who, thank goodness, they're here. Like Patrick Teahan definitely is one of them. Don't do sales pitches. He has a lovely, actually, I'm going to read his quote. He has this beautiful quote that he shares on practitioners that want to help people. And it's actually not about a sales pitch at all. In fact, he makes it very clear that people who care, right here, a gifted healer will work from their experience, not a niche. So he is on board like any mature, emotionally speaking human being, not treating people like they're objects, because we do know what the difference is. And so, as he says, for therapists, life coaches, and those who are seeking to help people, making yourself marketable, definitely, he understands it, but still, it's like you're dealing with people. So the more, he says, human, the better. And if you have overcome certain things, obviously from your experience, that's where you are going to be able to help people. And your experience is your niche. And so here's where unconditionally loving my own flaws and imperfections and being an imperfect human, and then knowing how to say, yeah, I make mistakes, so do you, what's the big deal? That's what people don't like about the 5D community, and that's mystics and or functional adults. Okay, so back to the story. So 5D mystics do their best to present the truth, but it doesn't mean we get taken seriously. Actually, you can expect to be vilified because the emotionally immature adaptive child and or codependent person chooses the silverback traditional cult or culty cult or ethical cult person and or people and or group. Remember, they get into relationships that are codependent. They try to change each other, to fix each other. There's a lot of low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive. They are also manipulative, and they think they know about boundaries, but canceling people isn't actually like that straightforward. So boundaries include a conversation and or more, and it usually involves adults, but that's only when you're emotionally speaking an adult, which adaptive children are not, and they're not ready to see their inner child. That's the part. So they will fall for the ethical cult, at least the ethical ones will teach them about ethics, person, people, or group in their life, the ones that give them the magical wand, the dream life, the sales pitch. Oh yeah, you should see all the people that I've seen throughout my years. It's been like, I don't even know how long that I'm an online marketer and entrepreneur besides what I do. But see, I don't do sales pitch with IHP. We inspire human potential, the real way, the raw way. You be yourself. I get to support you with your inner growth mindset. And then to follow your heart and deal with the unknown, uncertainty, and unwanted from within you with your flow, not mine, yours. I don't motivate you, I inspire, but I inspire by walking with you, creating a community, and if need be, mentioning good therapy. Because I do my due diligence, I think is the word, and I've asked every therapist in every one of my educational certificate courses for trauma and somatics, what do I do when I know therapy is needed? And how do I know? Maria, they said, trust your nervous system. I was like, okay, check. I already know that one. Okay, differentiate and trust your nervous system. Okay, ask for permission. But if you can't, just know your nervous system's going to tell you if there's need for more. And I have done my best when I've seen people to do all these things. Do you know what the adoptive children? You're evil. Not in those words, but they've made very, very interesting accusations. Weaponizing is the word Patrick Tiahan uses. I say they just use words because a weapon would involve something that is an actual object. And when you're using words for a person who knows how to use these two things right here and actually does do reading and material, and oh, my heart is whole. I'm not a piece of shit because I breathe. That's it. You can consider me a piece of shit. That's your relationship to me, but it's not my relationship to me. My relationship to me is I have a body and I have a way of thinking and feeling, and you don't need to give me thumbs up or thumbs down. If I actually care, it's because I actually would have liked to be probably part of your circle, but I'll get over it. That's the part of why vilifying. It's like, okay, so you think I'm evil. It's okay. I'll check that and make sure to not make myself present, since there are people who do still believe in magic. Science is magic that works. And so when it comes to clairs, I love clairs. I love being connected to this consciousness sphere, and I know about neuroscience and consciousness researchers and biologists, and they're amazing physics. So yeah, it's amazing to be part of Akash, but beyond the supernatural. So it's not like, oh my God, somebody's going to come down and beat me with a stick. No, not like that. That's actually nowhere near. It's a lot more fun for 5D mystics because it's energy. That's it. There's no magic. There's no powers. Nobody's anything unique in the sense of we all can do it, even though some don't, but that's for another day. So let's finish this sentence. Yes, so they fall for the sales pitches, the dream life, the dream, whatever. It's that, what can you do? Those who choose, they choose. It's when they're ready to see the inner child. That has been explained by Peter Levine, Bezel van der Kolk, Janina Fisher, Stephen Porges, not so much, but still I'm sure he would have something to share about that. Daniel Siegel, yes. So it's only once a person sees, wow, I'm hurting and I'm hurting others. You know what? Maybe I could look into that. So once the teenager who's not wanting to meet the 0-1-year-old, because the inner conflict is for within. So it's actually where that way of vilifying the compassionate lens, it's because the compassionate lens just mirrors back compassion, but the inner child didn't get that. So this is why we actually understand. We who? 5D mystics, not the 4D collective. This is why the 5D don't call our oversoul anything except for family. Twin flames, soulmates, stop with the drama, please, teenagers, but that's for 4D collective. We already know if you're not actually engaging with me in a way of heart, it means you're hurt. I'm not going to hurt you back. But until they're ready to meet their inner child, take ownership of the hurt people, and connect with their actual emotional body, they will resist all that is love. It's unfortunate. And that is my personal experience. So you can be vilified for being an emotionally mature, self-empowered, unconditionally loving person. I have experienced this a number of times. Usually I get different types of ways that people will address it. Professionally, I don't bullshit people, so I don't get any clients and or people that work with me that don't know what to expect, because see, I'm not a liar. I do like to say, life is very straightforward. You have a head. I think you have a brain. I actually did update my curriculum. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. I'm finishing up interpersonal biology. So left and right mode. All hands on deck. Ventral vagal state, check. Oxytocin gene hormone on, check. Human 101, check. Now, to get to your restorative embodied self, though, there has to be the choice of, I have a window of tolerance, or maybe I have a window of welcome. And that is your emotional body regulation. Guess how many people love to tell me how it's not their emotional stuff. No, they didn't do anything. Let me shame, let me blame, let me fault, or let me revenge somebody outside of me. And lo and behold, the people who actually have childhood trauma, if there's anyone that will have done the more vilification, unfortunately, but it makes sense, again, the 0-1-year-old of a person who has childhood trauma does not know a safe home. Therefore, when they meet a safe person, it's not safe. And the movies make it very clear how easy it is to fall for, I don't even know what words to use. So it's okay, because we will keep loving with compassion, because that's what love does, and that's our nature as human beings. So support each other and be kind. You don't know what anybody's going